For the most part. I never got the chance to say I am. Ruh-roh. Before I could, Fi exploded into the room, her face a mixture of anxiety and fear.
Good. There you are.
Did something happen?
Alice is... Look, just come with me, all right? She's in the number 2 cabin.
You're telling me she's dead. Without waiting for a response, Fi spun around and ran back out of the room. Tenmyoji and I exchanged a quick, confused look, then leapt up and took off after her. First thing I saw when I stepped through the door was the blossom of red on her chest. It felt as if I'd walked straight into a brick wall. I stopped short, my body refusing to move. No! Why did this happen? I forced one shaking foot forward, then the next. My legs began to buckle, and I put a hand against the wall to steady myself as my heart thundered in my chest. Calm down. Calm down. This looks pretty bad, but you don't actually know anything yet. Yeah, that's right. Maybe it's not too late. Then at last I pressed my fingers to her neck, and those hopes were dashed. No pulse. Clearly she wasn't breathing. Her pupils had dilated hideously, making her face seem somehow inhuman. All around the room were the rest of the Nonary Games participants, except, of course, for Quark. I wanted to ask which one of them had killed her. Even if it had been one of them, though, there's no way they'd answer. All I could do was stare at each one of them in turn, asking myself, is this person a murderer? The looks that they traded with one another suggested that I wasn't the only person wondering if they were standing next to a killer. An unsettling silence filled the room. Clover was the first to speak.
Who did this?
I think she did it.
Say something! Answer me!
Please, Clover, calm down. We don't even know if she was killed.
Then what happened? An accident? You think a scalpel just dropped from the ceiling and stabbed her?
Cool it, kid.
You did it, didn't you?
Boy, Clover. You obviously were very capable of going psycho in the first game, and you apparently still are.
Are you nuts?
Then who did it?
Clover, even if we assume that she was murdered, that doesn't necessarily mean the killer was one of us, does it?
Wait a minute. You went into the AB room with Alice during the last round, didn't you? Something happened in there, didn't it?
No, nothing happened.
Don't lie to me! There's no way Alice would just run off like that! She wouldn't leave me! Something happened! If she was going to leave, she'd tell me! She...
So, are you two lovers or what?
Hey, Clover. Don't you think just assuming Alice was murdered is jumping the gun a little bit?
How can you look at her and say that? Scalpels don't just stab people all by themselves!
Look at the blood on her wrists and hands.
Oh, I see. I get it now. You're all in on it, aren't you? It wasn't just one killer. It was 6! No wonder you're so anxious to say this wasn't a murder.
Clover, please, just settle down.
Fine. Show me some proof then. Prove to me in 10 seconds that you didn't murder my friend,
10 seconds.
or I'm going to kill every last
How are you going to do that?
You're all going to die just like she did!
Hey, hold on a minute.
9, 8, 7,
Clover!
6, 5, 4.
Okay, I think she's officially lost it.
Clover!
3, 2, 1.
Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. Suddenly, Clover moved. I leapt forward and clamped my hand around her wrist.
What are you doing?
Stopping you from doing something stupid. Clover, listen to me! Alice wasn't killed! Nobody murdered her! She took her own life!
What? No. No, there's no way she'd do that.
Yes, there is. It's true! She stabbed herself in the heart with the scalpel.
All right. Where'd she get the scalpel then?
Well,
I did hear someone come into the infirmary right after the AB game ended.
Was that before I showed up?
Yes. I got up to see who it was, but they were already gone.
there was a scalpel in the infirmary.
It could have been Alice.
So she could have taken the scalpel then.
Yes, I think so.
You're lying. This is all a lie. It has to be.
It's not. It's the truth.
Then why did she do it?
Because she was infected!
Why would Alice kill herself? What?
That's what killed her.
But you just said she killed herself. Just tell me the truth. Then prove it. Your 10 seconds ran out a long time ago. So if you don't have any proof,
I do! I have proof. There was a journal in the lab, wasn't there, Kay? Show it to me.
Journal?
It would have been in the safe.
Oh, well, Alice would have it then.
Fi, can you... I don't feel right touching a dead woman's body. Could you take a look?
Sure.
Her hands barely shook as she quickly searched through Alice's clothing. It was only seconds before she stopped. Slowly and carefully, she drew something out. There it was. The journal. Fi turned to hand it to me, but I shook my head. You read it. It's in Latin. I can't make heads or tails of it. She cocked an eyebrow at me and flipped the small book open. When she looked back up at me, it was with both suspicion and surprise.
Yeah, it is Latin. But translating this is impossible. It's full of words I've never heard before. I can barely understand any of this.
So, quick sidebar, guys. That whole moment when she was counting down, and then all of a sudden there was a bunch of other thoughts, you probably figured this out. But, like in the first game, in this game, to get past these to be continued or seemingly dead-end points, you have to go through all the other timelines and learn certain information in order to get past the dead points. So because we already went through other timelines and we learned stuff, we could get past this deadlock. This was actually the first deadlock I ever reached when I first played this. But this time, because we knew stuff, we could easily get past it. This is why I love this game so much. Anything to do with time travel or altering the future or the past, it's just awesome. I love this kind of stuff. Anyway.
Huh?
Page 216. Turn to page 216. You should be able to read that one. Fi's frown deepened, but she did as I'd suggested. I watched her eyes quickly scan the page before looking up at me with renewed suspicion.
Yeah, I can read this page. How did you know?
I just knew.
No, wait. How did you even know there was a journal in the lab?
I just knew.
You just knew? Come on.
Look, just read it, okay? Clover wants to hear what it has to say. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Give me a moment to look it over.
After a few moments of whispering to herself in Latin, Fi began to translate, paraphrasing the contents of the journal. Radical 6 reduces the processing speed of the brain by a factor of the root of 1/6. One of the symptoms of Radical 6 infection is an overwhelming urge to commit suicide. Research has shown that it would probably respond to the right sort of antiviral medication, but no one has been able to develop one yet. Nearby towns are filled with the corpses of people who took their own lives. The uninfected have only barely managed to survive and have been sent into underground shelters supervised by the government.
Oh Lord, please. Let their future be a bright one.
Fi shut the journal with a soft slap. A sickly silence drifted through the room. The newspaper article, the recording, the conversation with Tenmyoji, and now this journal entry. There was no more hiding from the truth. The pandemic had already happened. I'm sorry, kid. All of Clover's rage suddenly dissipated, and she collapsed to the floor, tears pouring down her face. None of us had the heart to say anything, and for several long moments the only sound in the room was Clover's sobs.
We've got a problem.
Which is?
It's almost time for the primary doors to open.
I wouldn't say that's a problem, I'd say that's a good thing.
Sorry, but I'll be taking Alice's bracelet. Fi and I won't be able to open the secondary door without it.
Okay, that seems fair. So just like in the first game, as soon as the person's heartbeat reaches 0, the bracelet comes off.
So she was a magenta pear, just like me.
Just now noticed that, did ya?
As he spoke, Dio grabbed the bracelet off the floor and dropped it into his pocket.
What color is your bracelet, Luna?
I'm a cyan pear.
You are part of Clover's pair, then. That means the two of you will need to come with me.
I guess so. Come on now, Clover. We need to go. Alice would want you to survive, wouldn't she? You'll never be able to figure out why all this happened if you stay here. Please.
You're right. Alice, I promise I'll find out what happened to you. I'll figure out who Zero really is. I mean, if you'd never been locked up in here, you never would have... This never would have happened. So it's like Zero killed you. I promise. I'll avenge you.
Clover stood up and rubbed her hands roughly over her eyes, smearing tears across her cheeks. Then, with a determined frown, she strode out of the room. Whew.
Alright, we're out of time. Move, people.
You guys head on down to the Floor B warehouse. We'll catch up with you later.
Oh, right. Cork's got the yellow bracelet, which makes him your partner, right?
Yeah, can't exactly leave him behind.
Without him, we'd end up stuck in the AB room.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go. We'll see the rest of you once we've picked up Cork.
Very well. Until we meet again.
Quark! You're awake!
Yeah, I just woke up. Hey! Where's everybody else?
Oh god. Quark.
Tenmyoji's entire body shook with emotion as he drew closer to him. He cautiously laid a trembling hand on the boy's shoulder, almost as if he were afraid Quark would disappear in a puff of smoke the moment he was touched. When Quark proved to indeed be corporeal, Tenmyoji let out a cry and threw his arms around him.
What's wrong?
Aww. I don't have any kids. I don't have any grandkids for sure. I can't imagine that kind of connection. I will someday, but can't right now.
Are you okay, Grandpa?
It's nothing. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine.
You're fine. Never mind the water that's streaming from your eyes.
But...
Quark gave him a puzzled look. Tenmyoji didn't even notice. His face was a mixture of happiness and relief, and I could see tears twinkling from the wrinkled corners of his eyes. All traces of his usual gruff stoicism had vanished. I didn't want to interrupt such a happy reunion, but we were running out of time. Still, Tenmyoji deserved a few minutes. I left them alone. At last, Tenmyoji seemed to recover, and shifted from an embrace to a protective arm around his shoulder.
So, how are you feeling?
Feeling? Well, okay, I guess. Was I sick or something?
Yeah, you were.
No. You're not sick. If you feel fine, then you're fine.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I should never have gotten you involved in all this.
What are you apologizing for?
Sorry.
You're doing it again. Are you sure you're okay? So, where's everybody else? Mr. Sigma's here, but he's just been standing there looking kinda silly.
Thanks. I gave him a nervous smile and explained about the white doors. I got the feeling Tenmyoji didn't want Quark to know about Radical 6, so I avoided any mention of it. Alice's death was something I also would leave for later.
Okay, that makes sense. That means I'm on a team with you guys, right?
Right.
That's right, buddy.
So, these white doors, when are they gonna open?
In 4 minutes.
Oh, that's not good. We need to hurry, come on! How do we get to the Floor B warehouse?
Okay, we're going.
Chromatic doors have opened. 5 minutes remain until chromatic doors close.
You're late. Where the hell have you been? Quark?
You're awake.
Yeah, despite your best efforts to kill him in other timelines, Dio, he's okay.
And fully recovered, apparently.
I am also relieved to see you well again.
Me too.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I looked out at the others from behind Quark and held a warning finger up to my lips. There were a few momentarily raised eyebrows and some nervous coughing as everyone suddenly fell silent.
Huh?
From Quark's perspective, it must have seemed especially odd.
Anyway, there isn't any time left. We need to hurry.
But there are 3 doors.
Which team goes in which door?
All of the doors are identical for this round. I believe it doesn't matter which team uses which door.
Really?
Then we're taking the one in the middle.
Why that one?
You want a kill shot, you aim for the center. You're more likely to just miss the extremities.
That logic is flawed and more than slightly disturbing. Unfortunately, I don't really have a counter-argument, so center door it is.
I suppose we could go with the one on the left. Is that okay? I mean, we could go with the other one if you want.
Kane Clover only nodded.
Well, there's only one left.
The door on the right.
Let's do this.
Any objections? All right, let's move.
30 seconds remain until chromatic doors close.
Hurry it up, Phi. This thing's gonna close.
I know.
It's time we were going as well.
Right. Sure.
Come on, guys. There's no time to waste.
Right behind you.
Let's go.
2, 1, 0. Chromatic doors closing.
Are we going to a 3rd floor? No? Director's office? Excuse me? Whoa. Want a balloon, Georgie? What is this place?
Probably the office of whoever it is that's running this place.
It said director's office on the door.
So this might be Zero Senior's office.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Well, which is it?
Why the hell would I know?
We should look around. If this really is Zero Senior's room, there might be some clues.
Yeah, you've got a point. Let's get started then. Okay, guys, so we've come to the 3rd round of the AB game for the first time. So, as you can see, this is going to get a lot more complicated, but really quick. My name is Kronos006. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying bringing it to you, because I really, truly am enjoying bringing this to you. But I must be signing off for now. Take care. Just want to see the flowchart. Boing.